Okay, now you are ready to add the details onto your pinch pot that you made earlier. So take it out of the plastic bag, have your extra clay handy, have 2 bowls, one with water in it, one empty. We're going to make a little bit of slip. And I would have maybe some tools that you can use. Kitchen utensils are fine. Pencil usually works well to just draw on the clay, and I'm going to use this marker because the back end has a nice circle that I'm going to press onto the clay. But depending on what your design is, you can use any tools that you find around your house. So I'm going to turn this example pot into an octopus flower pot. So what my plan is to turn the head into sort of like the head of an octopus, and I'll have some tiny little tentacles coming off the sides. And then you do not need to do this, but if you are making a flower pot, you will probably want to put a hole in the bottom. Everybody else, disregard when I show you how to put the hole in the bottom, okay? So now I'm ready to start making my additions. You will make whatever you want your creature to look like. You're gonna make things and attach them. So I'll do some tentacles as an example. So for the tentacles, I'm first gonna make some more little coils. So first I'm squeezing it out to the length, a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna do an M shape in my roll. If you roll it really fast like this, it will just create lots of little indentations. And then I'm moving my hand to the area that I want to get thinner. Like over here is thin enough, so I'm going over there a little bit more. Okay, now this is longer than I want for a tentacle, so I'm just going to cut that in half, like that. Okay. And then actually, I think I want my tentacles to be thicker at the spot where they touch, so I'm going to fold this over so that it's sort of thick, fading out to thin. So whatever you're making, you just kind of have to play around and figure out what works to make it look the way you want to. Now I'm going to attach these on. So because this clay is a little bit drier and this is a little bit wetter, I have to score and slip. So I'm going to score, and I'm going to score the spot I want to attach it to. Then I'm going to put slip in the cracks. Only enough to fill the cracks is all you need. And the rougher you can like scrape it up with your fork, the better it will attach. Now again, I'm not pressing hard, I'm just wiggling. And as soon as you sort of feel it suctioned on, I'm pulling on it a little, you're good. Now I'm going to form it to the shape I want it to be. There's one little tentacle. Now you just keep going with whatever extra stuff you want to make. You just keep making the things that will make your creature come to life and attach them on. I would like you to attach on at least 5 different pieces. All right, my legs are attached. Now, if I leave these skinny legs going straight out, they will probably not make it through the kiln. So what I'm going to do is curve all the legs up so that they're kind of closely attached to the body, and that will make them much more likely to make it through the kiln without breaking. Anytime you have a long skinny piece sticking out of a piece of clay, it's going to want to break. So you want to keep your pieces kind of close to the surface. Now I'm going to make a face. I think I'll just give him some eyes. The way I'm going to make my eyes are, first I'm going to make 2 balls of clay, then I'm going to roll it up, and then I'm just going to flatten it. I'm not adding detail yet because if I did, I might mess it up when I was trying to attach it. So I'm going to attach it first and then add like the pupil detail. Score and slip. Now that I have all my additive pieces attached, I'm ready to add texture. Clay usually looks a lot nicer if you don't try and keep it smooth. It is really, really difficult to get it really smooth and perfect looking. I would recommend choosing some simple type of texture like polka dots, zigzags, a fur texture. You could do a fur texture like with the fork. And press it into the clay or draw it in. Also, a pencil is a really good tool for just drawing in clay, because if you sharpen it, it's just dull enough that like it won't cut through the clay all the way, but it'll just draw a nice line. Okay, what I'm going to do is polka dots, I think. So I'm going to use the back of a marker, and really carefully I'm going to support the inside, and then I'm just going to sort of press all over. Maybe I'll use both sides so I have 2 different types of polka dots. Okay. And then I'm also going to use this for the pupils. I'm going to press that right in the middle. He's looking good, isn't he? Now I'm going to use maybe my pencil to poke, or maybe the eraser is a good size. I'm going to poke the holes for the tentacles. Once you are done, you are going to carve your initials on the bottom. I'll write my last name with a pencil. Most of you will just leave your bottom as is. I'm going to cut a hole in mine because I want this to be a flower pot. Then at the end you want to do any final smoothing. Like I see some cracks around the top, and so I'm going to go through and just press on them a little bit. And I'm going to dip my finger in the plain water and just run it over the top. And this is only right at the end that I want to put water on there. And notice how I'm like kind of doing this with my fingers. That gets a nice even rim so that it doesn't get too thin also. I'm going to do any final smoothing of the places where I did connections. And I'm all done. And I'm all done with my Pinch Pot Octopus flower pot. So once you are done, you want to let this dry out. So you are going to set it in a place like a shoebox or something would be really good, where no one will touch it, and it can dry out for several days. And at this point, it is very, very fragile. If you would like to keep this long term, it will need to be fired so you can bring it to school and I'll fire it for you.